There is a rhythm beneath your feet that your ears cannot hear but your soul remembers. A silent hum woven through the soil, the stones, the seas, a geometric breath pulsing beneath the surface of everything we call real. You may have walked over it 1,000 times without knowing, stood unknowingly on a point where the earth herself breathes, surges, speaks, and felt something. A shiver down the spine. A thought you didn't summon. A sudden remembering of a home you've never been to. These are not accidents. Across this planet lies an ancient and invisible architecture, a luminous matrix older than pyramids and deeper than science can chart. Known by many names, dragon lines, spirit roads, song lines, telluric currents, but most commonly, ley lines. These are not mere myths whispered by mystics or flights of fantasy sketched in forgotten tomes. These are real, energetic arteries of the earth. Currents of power that once guided the footsteps of high priests, aligned temples to the stars, and opened dimensional doorways used not only for travel but for transformation. Every great civilization knew of them. They did not build haphazardly, they built in alignment. Cathedrals, pyramids, megaliths, and medicine wheels all anchored to specific points of energetic resonance. Because they understood a truth we've forgotten in modern noise. The Earth is not just a sphere of rock and water. She is a living temple, wired with sacred geometry. Where these ley lines intersect, energy surges. These are the portals, gateways between realms, crossroads of frequency and intention. Step into one, and you are no longer in just one world, but brushing the veil between many. These places do something to the body, the heart, the mind, the DNA. And here's where it gets even more mysterious. This grid doesn't just surround you, it interacts with you. You are not merely walking upon it, you are a node within it. Your energy field, your breath, your thoughts, they ripple through the current. You are a co-creator in the living map of reality. And when you awaken to this truth, the very landscape begins to speak to you. The stones echo ancient songs. The wind carries guidance. Your footsteps become pilgrimage. In this journey, we will explore what these energy portals and ley lines truly are, how they function, why the ancients revered them, and how you can begin to reconnect with this forgotten circuitry of power that still pulses through our planet and through you. So if something within you stirs a flicker of ancient memory, a pull to places unknown, or a sense that the land is trying to tell you something, then you are in the right place. Because the ancient grid never stopped transmitting, we just stopped listening. And now, we remember. If you feel the resonance of this truth, like, comment, and subscribe, because the path ahead unfolds deeper than you think. Together, we're not just uncovering forgotten knowledge, we're stepping back into alignment with the grid itself. The ancients did not see the Earth as passive terrain. To them, the planet was alive not metaphorically, but literally. They called her names that reflected this: Gaia, Pachamama, Aluna, ascension being, radiant with life force. And just as your body holds meridians, energy channels that carry chi or prana, so too does the Earth carry her own electromagnetic lifeblood. This is the grid, a multi-dimensional web of frequencies that links mountain to mountain, temple to temple, soul to cosmos. A lattice of power lines that don't carry electricity, they carry consciousness. At the foundation of this network are ley lines, invisible highways of planetary energy that wrap the Earth in geometrically precise patterns. Many researchers have noted how they echo the sacred shapes of platonic solids, the flower of life, and other fundamental blueprints of creation. These aren't random. They are the scaffolding of material reality, the structure beneath the illusion. Where ley lines cross, the energy amplifies. These intersections, often called nodal points, are where the veil grows thin. Portals emerge here, not always visible to the eyes, but deeply felt by the spirit. And they are not just places of raw power, they are access points to higher dimensions, ancestral memories, divine downloads. The ancients knew this. That's why they built their temples not where it was convenient, but where the earth called. This is no fringe theory. It is embedded in the very architecture of the ancient world. Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Teotihuacan, the Oracle of Delphi, the Nazca Lines, all anchored to precise energetic intersections. These structures were not just monuments to the gods, they were technologies attuned to the Earth's vibrational grid. But the magic doesn't end with the stones, it flows into us, because you are a resonance chamber. Your body, particularly your spine and chakras, mirrors the ley line system. Each chakra corresponds to a vibrational layer of the Earth. Your root is her iron core. Your crown is the cosmic ether. Your spine? A ley line of the soul. When you stand on a sacred site aligned with this grid, something deep inside you awakens. You're not just visiting the land, you're harmonizing with it. Your field begins to entrain with the Earth's frequency, activating codes long dormant in your DNA. This is why so many feel spontaneous healing, visionary insights, or spiritual downloads when visiting sacred places. It's not psychological suggestion, it's energetic coherence. It's the grid recognizing your frequency and amplifying it. And here's where the real mystery deepens. Ley lines are not static. They respond to human consciousness. Our intentions, rituals, even emotions, all of these affect the current. Like tuning forks, we can attune the grid to higher frequencies, or distort it through unconscious behavior. That's why temples were once places of profound purity. Not to appease gods, but to hold a harmonic that kept the grid intact. In a world that has forgotten the sacredness of space, this grid has become clouded, polluted by artificial frequency, buried under cities of distraction, but the lines are still there. The portals still pulse, and they are waiting for us to remember how to listen. If this message stirs something ancient in your soul, subscribe, because the next part of this series goes even deeper. To truly grasp the mystery of energy portals and ley lines, we must leave the modern map behind and enter the symbolic terrain, the mythic landscape where spirit and earth intertwine. Because in every ancient culture that revered the land, the lines were never called ley lines. They were dragon paths, serpent trails, song lines, rainbow bridges, rivers of the gods. Why the serpent? Why this universal symbol winding through Egyptian staves, Hopi petroglyphs, Chinese temples, and Norse sagas? The serpent was never just an animal. It was the embodied current, the sacred spiral of life force, the kundalini, the DNA helix, the magnetic dance of creation. Wherever it moved, it shaped reality. In the land, this serpent was the ley. In the body, it was the spine. In the sky, it was the Milky Way. As above, so below. In Aboriginal Australia, the songlines mapped the dreamtime, an ancestral reality encoded into the land through sacred songs. These songs were not mere music, they were maps, vibrational pathways that allowed the initiated to walk across vast deserts, guided not by GPS, but by harmonic resonance. They understood. Sound creates structure. Frequency determines form. The song wasn't about the land. The song was the land. And what are ley lines but the Earth's own songlines, threads of vibrational language weaving together the sacred points of Gaia's body? In the Andes, the Inca called them seques radial pathways extending from Cuzco, their cosmic center. In China, they were called lung mei, or dragon veins, and geomancers would align cities and tombs to their flow. In ancient Egypt, the Nile was more than a river, it was a living energy channel, mirrored in the sky as the Milky Way. The pyramids, obelisks, and temples were tuned like instruments to capture the resonance between heaven and earth. Even the biblical stories, when decoded through a symbolic lens, whisper of this ancient science. Eden was not just a garden, but a power zone, the original portal. The flaming sword guarding it was not a weapon, but a vibrational threshold, a barrier of frequency separating worlds. And then there's the cross, one of the most ancient symbols on Earth. Long before it became religious, the cross was a node point where two lines met, where sky and earth converged. It is the axis mundi, the world tree, the point of balance where spirit enters matter. When you walk a ley line, you walk along the arms of the cosmic cross. In the myths, heroes and seekers are always drawn to high mountains, sacred wells, ancient stones, places where the veil is thin. These weren't random backdrops, they were energetic nexuses. The journey of the soul has always been tied to the land, because the land holds the memory of the stars. The ancients believed that the earth was a mirror, and to know the hidden structure of the cosmos, one must walk her lines. These lines weren't just for travel, they were for transformation. You didn't visit a sacred site, you were initiated by it. And now, as we awaken from the spell of separation, these symbolic threads begin to reweave. The serpent rises again. The song returns. The grid activates not just around us, but through us. Stay with me, because what comes next reveals even more. The ancient grid isn't just a concept to contemplate, it's a force to engage with. This isn't abstract mysticism meant to live only in books or temples. It's a living current designed to be walked, felt, sung, and remembered. And the remembering begins not with knowing, but with resensitizing. Because if the earth is a sentient being, then your relationship to her must be personal. Start by standing still barefoot, if you can. Feel the weight of your body press into the earth. Feel her response, a subtle magnetic tension, a thrum of recognition. This is not imagination. This is entrainment. Your biofield harmonizing with the planetary field. If you've ever found yourself inexplicably drawn to certain landscapes, a mountain that haunts your dreams, a coastline that calls your name, that is not sentiment. That is the grid guiding you. These places are activators, memory keepers, echoes of past initiations and future alignments. To work with the grid in daily life is to begin listening again. When you walk, do so with awareness. Speak to the land. Touch trees. Ask questions. Then listen for answers in the silence. This is not superstition. It is somatic spirituality. The practice of merging your awareness with the consciousness of the earth. You can also attune your inner ley lines, your energetic meridians through breath, posture, and intention. Every time you sit in meditation with your spine aligned, you're echoing the vertical current of the earth, your root connecting downward to her core, your crown rising upward into the stars. You become the bridge, the pillar, the walking axis mundi. Sound, too, is a powerful activator. Chanting, humming, drumming, these aren't merely rituals. They are frequency tools that awaken the grid within and around you. Ancient cultures knew which tones opened which portals. You don't need to memorize all the old songs. Begin with your own voice. The earth responds to sincerity more than perfection. And then there's movement, sacred dance, pilgrimage. These are not entertainment or exercise, they are energetic alignment practices. When you move with intention across the land, you activate dormant nodes. You carry light into the forgotten channels of Gaia's body. You don't have to travel to Machu Picchu or Glastonbury to connect. You can begin with your local parks, rivers, caves, and stones. Any place where the natural world is intact still carries the code. Your attention brings it alive. Your reverence reactivates it. There are also ways to work with group intention. Collective meditations held on nodal points amplify the field. Grids of crystals or sacred objects placed with love and clarity can act as mini portals. Even writing, prayer, or conscious offerings such as water, herbs, or sound feed the grid with harmony. But perhaps the most powerful act you can offer the grid is your presence, a presence that is rooted, awake, humble, and listening. The grid does not demand mastery, it responds to sincerity. When you show up with reverence, the earth shows up too in signs, synchronicities, sudden clarity, subtle warmth, and an ever-deepening sense that you are being guided. This is what the ancients understood, and what we are learning to remember, that reality is not hardwired, it is frequency-wired, that sacredness is not confined to temples. It is the structure of the land itself. And when you begin to walk in rhythm with the earth's own energetic breath, you not only transform your experience of the world, you begin to reshape the world itself. The map was never lost, only our memory of how to read it. The grid has always been here, pulsing quietly beneath the cities and forests, beneath the oceans and deserts, waiting like a sleeping dragon coiled beneath the skin of the world. Waiting for us not to conquer it, but to rejoin it, to step back into sacred partnership, to remember that the earth was never a thing to be owned, but a consciousness to be honored. And now, something ancient is awakening not just in the land, but in you. That subtle knowing, that pull toward the mysterious, that surge of emotion when you stand beneath an ancient tree, beside a river that feels like it's whispering your name. That is not nostalgia. That is the grid calling your frequency home. You see, this was never just about ley lines and sacred sites. It was always about you. You are not separate from the Earth's circuitry, you are a living extension of it. Your nervous system is made of the same language. Your breath follows the same rhythm. Your body is the bridge between star and stone. You are the portal now. And every time you wake up with a deeper breath, every time you walk the land in silence, every time you trust the inner pull to be somewhere sacred without knowing why, you realign the circuitry. You become the remembering. You become the sacred site. This is what it means to return to the grid, to walk not in dominance, but in devotion, to know that each step can be a ritual, each glance a blessing, each heartbeat a drum syncing with the deep, ancient rhythm of Gaia's own pulse. The Earth is not waiting for technology to save her. She is waiting for the return of the initiate, the one who sees again, the one who listens, the one who remembers the lines not as maps but as songs, as prayers, as threads of a great and living tapestry. And if you've made it this far, maybe that initiate is you. The path ahead is not straight. It spirals, like the serpent. It doesn't move fast, it moves true. And it doesn't ask for perfection, only presence. So go. Go to the places that call your bones. Go to the places where you feel the air shimmer. Go to the places where your tears fall without knowing why. Because those are your portals. And you are the one who reactivates them. The forgotten light in you is remembering. Don't turn away now. If this message stirred something in your soul, I invite you to share your reflections in the comments. Let this be a circle, not just a screen. Subscribe if you feel called to continue this journey. And share this message with others who walk the edge between worlds, because the grid is waking, and the ones who remember are gathering.